विकास 2 मिनट 1 मिनट वेट करके स्टार्ट कर सकता है।
सर आ गया सर, नाउ स्ट्रीमिंग लाइव ऑन फेसबुक।
हाँ आ गया है, अब 2 मिनट वेट करके कर सकता है। 1 मिनट इसके अंदर भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स आना है, उसके बाद चालू कर सकते हैं। विकास चालू कर सकता है।
यस ओके सर। Namaskar and welcome for the webinar on mental preparation for rejoining sports during COVID-19. On this occasion, I would like to share the achievement of the Maharaja Sayajirao of University of Baroda. It is honor to inform you all that the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda has secured 33rd rank among the government university all over India and first rank in Gujarat state in recent survey of Education World Indian Government University Ranking 2021. It's under the leadership of Professor Parimar H. Vyas sir, our dynamic and visionary Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, who is motivational force for the activity in university. I would like to invite Dr. Harjit Kaur ma'am, Director Department of Physical Education, to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir and all the participants. Ma'am, please.
Okay. Namaskar. A very good evening to all. On behalf of the Department of Physical Education, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Parimal Vyas, today's guest speaker, Shri Karnbir Singh, all participants, the organizers, and the support staff from university. Before we call upon our guest speaker, I take this opportunity to thank our Vice Chancellor for enabling us to conduct this webinar and for sparing his valuable time for being with us. Under the able leadership of our Vice Chancellor, the MS University has made all-round progress. Hello. Specific to our department, there have been noteworthy achievements during his tenure. To name a few: sports infrastructure, synthetic court, modern gymnasium, multipurpose hall, etc. We thank you, sir. Look forward to your able guidance and support in the future as well. Today's webinar has been organized to look at the psychological consideration due to the current COVID-19 pandemic situation and its likely impact on organized sports activities. COVID-19 has been having an impact on our minds for months now and is expected to continue with no end in sight as yet. The anxiety, pressure, and stress are on the rise, and while social distancing is expected, it is difficult to implement the same for the sports activities. Hence, to look at the psychological aspect, Sir Karnbir Singh, a sports psychologist, would share his views. Now I request our Vice Chancellor, Professor Parimal Vyas sir, to motivate the participants. Thank you.
Namaskar. Good evening to all of you. Arun, am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good. Let me at the outset extend my greetings and heartiest congratulations to the Department of Physical Education. This is the first of its kind, the webinar on a topic of a great significance, because I'll tell you what happens now during sports when you're competing to win. Lot many activities happens, backdoor of the field. What I mean to say that the mental agility is also equally important, rather more important than the physical agility or the physical performance that you show when you are actually playing the game. And I believe the role of trainer, the role of coach, the role of guru, I think all has become now tremendous important. And it can make, clear difference. But above all, what can make difference is your mental preparedness to win the game, to participate, and then to participate it with true spirit, not just to harm anybody or not to use any unethical means to, win the game. I believe we have an excellent, speaker of today's webinar, Karanbir Singh, who is from Tata Sports Academy. We welcome him on behalf of the university. Great that you have decided to spend this wonderful evening. I think more than 50 days of lockdown now, we are now moving towards, brighter side of our life, unlock 1. And university is continually trying to see to it that the university is not just where we have to carry out research. It's not a place where you have to conduct only experiments. In fact, we wish, and at these opportunity, I must appreciate Karanveer, whenever it is possible. I'm not sure whether you have ever visited the, what we call it, we take pride of it. It is not a union pavilion, and union pavilion is, it's not the union of laborers that we normally understand. It is a union pavilion is a place in our campus where more than a few thousand students can come. And I'll tell you, we have a state-of-art, world-class infrastructure. There are some courts, for playing volleyball and tennis and so on and so forth. I'm not here to talk about the infrastructure. I'm getting a lot of calls when gymnasium will open. We have a wonderful gymnasium. And good thing that I would like to share about these Department of Physical Education is we have a wonderful team. All of them, they're like a family. We have a wonderful swimming pool also for the students for so many decades. And we are expecting to develop a world-class, indoor complex. Already we have one with the support of Sports Authority of Gujarat. We have a Swarnim Gujarat Sports University now in Gujarat, which is coming closer to Baroda, district. It would be very close to our university, a few kilometers from Baroda city, Baroda district. So I'll tell you, there's a lot of vibrancy in Vadodara as such, as far as sports. Vadodara as city, if I just share, with all these my attendees who are here, that we have made our presence felt, be it cricket, be it hockey, be it table tennis, be it any game. And I wish that the university has made a huge contribution, in promoting sports. A small request which I'll make to all the attendees. I think I'm very happy. There's a Vikas and Harjit and Sheetal, you have done a wonderful job because you got more than 180 participants, and to get them on a webinar, it means now this is the first of its kind, a group of students and participants and attendees. They are interested in sports and they all are now with you. So what I would request all attendees that at least you please write, because I could see a couple of them are from different parts of Gujarat and some of them are outside Gujarat. In a chat box which is given, at least you write your name, your email address. So when Vikas and Harjit, they conduct some other activity, we can very easily reach to you because you are the first one who have really supported the department. So I'm very happy about it. We welcome all of you, and we wish that some of the classes. I think I would request Vikas and Harjit at this moment that why don't you design an online course of physical education certificate course? I think you can do it. My wife is attending yoga session online on a Zoom. Why not you plan these kind of activities where you can? I'll tell you, it is not that we have to conduct online classes of only subjects for which we are conducting examinations. But I hope 40,000 students in the campus and all others, I wish your team should take up this as a responsibility. Isn't it? Please get some coach. Please get some coach to speak. Please conduct some online sessions, not this webinar. I think whenever you free, like at least you can start with the weekends maybe morning you can start at 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Please have some online sessions. See, this will bring confidence in the students. This will bring, it would help all of us to stay together. It will all help all of us to reduce our physical, mental stress. Are you getting me? And we would feel that no, we are all together. We are all, I think we are all now staying at our home for a very long time. But I believe we also need to stay connected with our classmates, our friends, our hostelites, our teachers, our gurus. So I believe that really is also extremely important. I convey my best wishes to all of you, and I'm sure you would be able to manage. There will be no technical hinge in the presentation by Karan, and it's going to be a great learning for all attendees. You know, they have joined here and they are, part of this webinar. So my heartiest congratulations to all, and all attendees who are with us today. They are taking keen interest, in sports. That is why they are with us. So I wish they should also give you reflections. It is not just there to ask questions to Karan and Karan will reply them, but let us, let us get the reflections on how can we utilize this online platform, to learn, to energize ourselves about sports and physical education activities. So with these words, once again, I convey my best wishes to all of you, and I'm sure that you would really enjoy. And this is just the beginning of the vibrant presence that we have, not just in grounds of the Department of Physical Education of the Maharaja Sarajav University of Baroda, but now I think we are going to make it big online also, and the department, as you know, has made a significant contribution, in whatever ranking that we are achieving, whatever accreditation which we are achieving. This department, I'll tell you, has found an alignment with ACC, NCC, NSS, so on and so forth. So I believe we are a wonderful team. And today, I think this is the first of its kind webinar on a topic of a very, very important, relevant issue. And I'm sure it would be a great immunity booster mentally, psychologically for all of us. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And have a wonderful evening with Karan. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your blessings and motivations to the Department of Physical Education and the sports fraternity of MS University. We have registered 992 participants and 530 participants and sports person from MS University, and rest of the 400 peoples are from BHU, LNIP, as well as from Indore and from other states. Now it's privilege to introduce our expert speaker today, Shri Karanveer Singh. He is a gold medalist in sports psychology. He is a TEDx talker, presently working in High Performance Center, Tata Steel, Jamshedpur. Under his able psychological coaching, many students from Tata Football Academy, Tata Archery Academy, Naval Tata Hockey Academy, Tata Steel Adventure Foundation are working very good in national level and international level sports too. Shri Karanveer Singh has a previous experience of working as a trainer for Army Sports Institute Pune from 2014 to 2019, where he has a experience to work with many Olympians, many Asian Games medalists and Commonwealth Games medalists and other international and national players from various sports. Now I would like to welcome Karan sir to start your lecture. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vikas. And first of all, I would like to thank Vice Chancellor University, Professor Ramal Vyas sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your motivational speech. Madam Director Harjeet Kaur ma'am and other panelists, thank you for having me here. I hope you all will enjoy this session. I'll try to cover whatever bits and pieces are there, related to sports psychology, especially during this lockdown. And I also want to congratulate the MSU, especially they are very optimistic to pick up this topic. Obviously, Unlock 1.0 is going on, and I think this is the right time to look at that light of at the end of the tunnel. We always talk about that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we are gradually approaching toward that light, and this is the beginning of that. And thank you. So I'll begin with my session. I'll try to just share my screen. Just make sure if you can see. This is for my reference. Otherwise, you may have my PPT from Dr. Vikas.
Karan sir, I will share your PPT. Please.
Okay, then I'll stop sharing. Huh? Okay, I will stop sharing after a video. Actually, I have a video to. First of all, good evening, everyone, all the attendees from within the campus and from within the campus and from outside the campus. You all are welcome to this webinar, and I will try to cover the mental aspect of returning to sport training after this lockdown. And before I begin, I just want all of you to go through or see this video. This is a little long video, 4 or 5 minutes. Just see, try to see what is going on and what they have to say about sports psychology. Then I will start with the other part of the webinar.
For top-level sports people, it's not just skill and athleticism that count.
Next stroke!
So often, it's mind over matter. Psychology is now seen as increasingly vital to winning.
Having a sports psychologist is just as valuable as a strength and conditioning coach.
In elite sport, the difference between success and failure is often the finest of margins.
It's all about raising the bar 1 year to the next. Heels! Good!
The annual boat race between Oxford and Cambridge universities is one of the oldest and most prestigious events in the sporting calendar.
Moving out to nearly half a length there, it's very encouraging for Cambridge.
For the competitors, it's 20 minutes of pure pain, but also pure pressure.
When they walk outside that boathouse, there will be 100,000 people standing on the bank. That is something you just can't get your head around until you've actually lived it.
How the rowers cope with that intense pressure can make the difference between glory and failure. The Cambridge women's team have won the last 2 races, and this woman has been one of the secrets of their success.
I work on managing their thinking, knowing that they are in control of their psychological state.
Sports psychologist Helen Davis has worked on specific techniques to help the team at the most mentally testing moments in the race.
When the pain kicks in, they have trigger words that they've planned for in advance that they will say to themselves to get across the finish line.
As training for the 2019 race intensifies, just trying to keep up with teammates is mentally grueling.
Trying to make those crews is huge pressure. I get off the water and I've just been trying to keep up with people who compete at world championships, and then I work on my PhD and I'm trying to keep up with people that I feel are so much smarter than me. So it's pressure that I put on myself.
So I will very much encourage them to view pressure as a challenge. Focus on certain things with their thinking that's going to help them with their performance, rather than focusing on the uncertainties of their situation.
Understanding what makes athletes cope or panic at those crucial moments is an ever-growing obsession in professional sport. It's the multi-billion-dollar question that sports psychologists are constantly trying to answer. Dr. Jamie Barker lectures at the world's leading sports science university, Loughborough in Britain.
what is the reaction that individuals go through and how does that contribute to how they perform. And that's the intrigue that we have.
Okay, and James, if you just try to relax as much as you can.
In 2013, Jamie helped devise a cardiovascular test. It compared the physiological reactions of athletes who thrive in a high-pressure situation with those who flop. A group of aspiring professional cricketers were set a specific target.
We had a scenario where they would have to score 36 runs off 30 deliveries when facing a bowling machine.
The cricketers were warned that their results would be made public and would decide who makes the team and who doesn't.
Shot. So what's he on then? 10 off 10.
Nearly half the players hit the test for 6 and scored the runs. And most of them went into what psychologists call a challenge state.
In a challenge state, my body releases adrenaline, which opens up my arteries, which means there's blood, glucose and oxygen going around my body. I'm able to make better decisions. I'm able to move quickly.
Over half the batsmen found themselves on a stickier wicket and failed to make the runs. They mostly entered the so-called threat state.
In a threat state, I experience the release of cortisol, which constricts the arteries around my heart. There's less blood going around my body, and hence my performance may suffer. As a sports psychologist, we can then start to go in and say, how can we help you to go from a threat state to a challenge state?
Jamie.
So actually you all have seen this video. I deliberately mentioned about the video in the presentation, and this video is a very good they have presented a very good content about sports psychology and its importance in sports. So basically the entire video, in the first half of the video, they covered the greatest rivalry between the two great academic institutions, the Cambridge University and Oxford University. So they have their sports meet every year, and they compete in canoeing and kayaking. So you must have noticed their coach, assistant coach, talking about the importance of having a sports psychologist in the team. He mentioned actually having a sports psychologist in the team is as important as having a strength and conditioning coach. And we all know as the competence over the period of time has just increased, and every year in a world championship or in any other international tournament like Olympics, we see these athletes setting up new records and they break the previous records. So that is the level of competence is there right now in the sports. And sports psychology is something which actually gives that fine edge to the athlete. Just not to athlete, psychology is actually gives that fine edge to every human being who actually practices its psychology or apply it, adopt it in his or her life. So in that video, Helen Davis is the sports psychology consultant. You heard her talking about how she helped train mentally their athletes, and then the later part of the video, Dr. Jamie Parker is a very renowned sports psychologist from England, and he was talking about, and you have seen that extent of, or I'll say the canvas, of sports psychology, that these people are working from ground to lab everywhere with the athletes. They are experimenting, they are researching, they are also working on the field, applying the mental skills. And this is what I do in my day-to-day life as a sports psychologist. And now I'm almost 6 to 7 years old working as a sports psychologist. And I was lucky that I got my opportunity to work with many elite athletes, Olympians, international players, Commonwealth medalists, and Asian Game medalists. I was very fortunate that I was somehow was connected with them and was trying to help them whenever they gave me a call.
Excuse
So,
me,
yes.
Please allow me to share my screen. अभी भी आपका वो blurred आ रहा है पूरा.
Okay, I'll stop my screen then.
Okay, and now I'm sharing.
Okay, no problem.
Sir, please, sir. Now it is clear, sir. Please carry on, sir.
This is what I see is my screen or your screen now on mine? I think this is your screen.
Yes, sir. It is my screen online.
Okay. So you will scroll through the slides, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is great. So I was just trying to I was just telling everyone that as a sports psychologist, I personally feel that my laboratory is the ground. I really like to work on ground with the athletes. Yes, I do work in laboratories, but sports psychology is very new field to India, and we don't have many sports psychology labs actually. And I think there are very few universities who do have laboratories, who do have sophisticated technology. So here in Tata Steel at High Performance Center, we are just trying to develop one laboratory, state-of-the-art sports psychology laboratory, and they gave me the charge, and probably in a couple of months we will have that laboratory, and we will be working on the psychological aspect on ground, off ground. We'll try to experiment on the athletes. We'll try to produce more and more literature on Indian sportsmen. This is what I think we need. So coming on to the slide, actually the first slide, sports psychology, you all are probably from physical education department and physical education. I think everyone of you have heard of sports psychology. You actually do read this subject in your curriculum as well. I'm pretty sure you are aware of the definition part of it. So primarily sports psychology. So psychology is basically derived from a Greek word, psych and logos. The psych means the mind, and logos means the speakings of mind, or you can say the study. So eventually, there is a very popular or renowned psychologist, William James, and he actually gave away the definition of psychology. And according to him, the psychology is basically a science of mind, or science of science of behavior. So basically, everyone around people, most of the time, they think that psychology is a philosophy and psychology is all about talking and all that. This is not true. I have all the time try to debunk, these such kind of myths. People actually trying to stigmatize the psychology, which is not true. So psychology is a very scientific field. It is empirical field, and I myself, as a sports psychologist, deal with use a lot of scientific methods and materials while studying my subjects. So now coming on to the sports psychology is actually a scientific study of human behavior in sports context. But I study the thinking, feeling, emotions, and the behavior of the sportsmen, and then I try to help them through the outputs of that process of evaluation. So being a sports psychologist was so very exciting, and all the sports psychologists who work on they have primary two objectives when they deal with the sportsmen. The first objective basically is they try to study the relation of psychology, relation of our personality, and a relation of psychological factor. How does this psychological factor actually affects the performance? What kind of impact they do have? And the second objective of being a sports psychologist is how does the participation in a certain physical activity actually help anyone's psychological development. So here are a couple of examples in next slide. So actually, I will let me just explain you a little bit. So can you please go back? Yes. So objectives are, let me explain a little more about the objectives. Studying the psychology and its impact on performance is like one example I want to give here. Like we all do have personality characteristics. Like some of us have that trait of anxiety, trait of aggression. So being a sports psychologist, we just study that how does this trait of anxiety or trait of aggression actually impact the performance of an athlete. So I just want to refer here one example of Roger Federer. We all know he's the greatest tennis player, and so I remember Roger Federer. He used to smash his racket on the court actually. Whenever he lose the match or either he lose the point, and he developed that tendency of being aggressive, and eventually he was unable to control the aggression and he used to smash the racket on the ground. So gradually he realized that the particular behavior is not helping him to perform better. He is actually not able to perform. So he approached a psychologist, and then he went through a certain psychological interventions, came up, and you have seen him. I don't know if in last 5 years if ever Roger Federer smashed his racket on the ground after that help from his sports psychologist. And the second point is the how does the participation. So it is very important. So there are two branches right now under the sports psychology. One is the sports psychology and another is the exercise psychology. So exercise psychologists, what they do basically, they motivate people, they make people understand the importance of exercise in their life, and eventually being a sports psychologist, we also try to understand how does the participation in any physical activity affects the psychological development. So as we all know, if someone is suffering from anxiety or depression or stress, and when we start exercising, we follow the exercise routine daily, or just not exercise, we are just doing the yoga asanas. So that is also a physical activity, and involving ourselves in that physical activity help improve our stress, improve our anxiety and depression. So exercise and its impact on, or physical activity and its impact on the psychological development is the second objective of sports psychology. Now the second slide is the invisible factor. Why does we call psychology invisible factor? So you all can see there's a image on the slide. So you can see in the image that there is a beach, there is a sea. You can see the water, color of the water. You can see the color of the clouds and color of the trees. You can see all the physical object, whatever is there in the image. But one thing which you cannot see is the air. So air is very important, and we all know, to breathe, we all need oxygen. So psychology is as important as oxygen, and only a psychologist can help coaches to bring up those hidden observations through those hidden points through their observations, and further can help the athlete and the coach to improve the performance of the athlete. But commonly what happens, there are common mistakes. I want to refer here the common mistake. First of all, the coaches think that they take psychology granted actually. They think that mind can train itself. So primarily the coaches focus more on the physical and technical aspect, which actually I think is not a right approach. And the second thing is psychology is quick fix. So many coaches and athletes, even athletes also, they think that visiting a psychologist once or twice is okay. Actually, if you are looking at long-term gains, I think it is very important to keep in touch with the sports psychologists. And nowadays, many sports institutions actually have the sports psychologists on a regular basis, 24/7 available for their athletes. The one example, if you have seen in the video that Dr. Helen Davis and Jamie Bob Barker, they work in a university, and university athletes are having that access to sports psychology, which is itself an amazing thing. And eventually in Indian University, we will see as the Khelo India University Games has started and level of competence is increasing. Probably we will also see many sports psychologists working with the university athletes. Coming on the next slide, actually. Next slide, Vikasji. So what are the factors which are responsible for performance? So for performance, the most important factor which I think is the environment. Environment is very important. Obviously, then there is training facilities and methodologies that we follow for sports training, mindset and motivation, and scientific support. So these are the 4 primary factors which I think very essential, very crucial for any high level of performance. And as next. So as we all know that there was this pandemic going on. Still, it is going on. Not was actually. Still, there's this the COVID-19 pandemic actually going on across the globe, and this actually pandemic taken everyone with a surprise. Nobody ever expected that such thing can happen to humanity. But you can consider it an ignorance of humanity, whatever you want to call the punishment of the God, whatever. So this is the reality right now, that we are suffering the pandemic, and hence, because of the pandemic, there are restrictions, there are episodes of lockdown, and then further there is this loss of communication and support system. Many people lost their momentum and motivation, the purpose of their life. Number of psychological issues or mental health issues are on the rise. And especially the athletes who were very active before the lockdown, they actually now their physical health or physical fitness is compromised. Maybe they are not eating properly, training properly at their home, because it becomes very difficult to train with all those factors which I told you in the previous slide. The environment, they don't have a proper environment to train, they don't have a right now proper training tools, or the maybe the availability of the coaches, who actually are very important part, and coaches tell them the right way to train and which methodology to follow. And then obviously the mindset and motivation is compromised, and also they're also under stress, also anxiety and stress. The reason of stress and anxiety, primarily the uncertainty. Government is not sure that when the government can lift this lockdown, in a coming days. It could be, they could take a couple of more months to lift the lockdown. And we are very optimistic that we are just talking about returning to sports training. And I think the government has released advisories and guidelines how the sports training can be started maybe after 8th June or 15th June in some of the states. So many athletes are looking forward after this very grueling time, very thick and very stressful time of pandemic. And so it was our situation of during this lockdown. We are all still facing this situation of pandemic, and hence the consequences of this pandemic. Next slide. So why actually during this pandemic, the primary reason which I personally feel is responsible for a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety is the lack of positivity and increase in that negativity. And that increase in negativity, the main factor in that increase in that negativity is the negative news. We actually have developed this habit of scrolling through each and every information, or there is government who is releasing information on their official portals, and then there are many news channels, many other social media handles. They are also putting a lot of negative news. So, and it is very difficult to restrict ourselves from that negative news, because everyone do have technology in their hand nowadays. So as you can see on the screen that more than now 30% media channels show the negative news. Only 15% positive news is available out there on very different news channels and social media. So that is also one of the reason, I think, very important, crucial point that contribute to the negative mindset, and it actually impact our psychology, and it actually enhance the stress and enhance the anxiety among the people. Eventually, because of that, also many of the people now losing that grip on their control on their mind and on their mental health, and they also started committing suicide. Also, I have seen a couple of cases, which is very unfortunate, especially during this time. Next slide. So, we had the consequences. We are still in a pandemic situation. We don't know when the vaccines and drugs will arrive, when the people will start recovering from this stroke back. So, but as the government has initiated to lift the restrictions, the unlock 1.0 is about to begin in a couple of days. In many states of the country, only accept the containment zones. So it is a good news. We all will go back to our normal life. We will be living a little, if not fully, but a little normal life. So hence it is a very positive news for all of us, all the sportsmen, everyone actually, just not sportsmen, all the people. It is very positive news for all of us. Only thing which we have to stick to is the guideline of the government. We must stick to the guidelines of the government, whatever they are asking from us, to either to maintain the social distance, using the hand sanitizers, as less as contact possible, gatherings and all that. We should avoid that, and it is true. We should have to follow those guidelines. So it is a very good thing. We should be positive and we should rejuvenate our life. Now coming on the very important point of sports training, because primarily it is about the sportsmen today, that how they can prepare themselves, and because they probably will join the training. So working with the eminent institution of sports in India, one thing which I have learned is the planning and the periodization. It is true that we do not have any competitive goal right now, but we can still set the training goal. Many athletes over the period of time must have lost their muscle mass. They must have increased their fat percentage. They could have even there might be some issue of decrease in their endurance or speed, whatever physical factor. So their physical health is compromised and their physiological factors also being compromised. So during this time, when I am talking here about planning and periodization of the training, I understand there is no tournament sporting event ahead, so that shouldn't be a problem for the athlete. The first thing which I mentioned is the positivity, that it is very we should rejuvenate that as the government is about to lift the lockdown and these athletes can come out from their houses or dormitories, then they can go to the ground and they can again exercise their muscles. So no sporting event, there shouldn't be a problem. The athletes can prepare in advance. They can focus on their other part of their physical fitness, technical fitness, and hence the first thing they have to do is the evaluation, the pre-participation examination. They should assess their physical fitness, technical, I think physical fitness, mental fitness, and the medical fitness is more important. So evaluation is very important. Then you can set your physical fitness goal at whatever intensity. If you have not trained at that intensity, many athletes are training in their home. Maybe they are following a certain percentage of intensity, maybe a strict diet schedule also, but I think most of the athletes are not training as much as they used to train when there was no lockdown. So set your physical fitness goal accordingly, and you need to work on your weaknesses, which is very important. Coaches should focus on the weaknesses of the athlete and ask them how they can make those improvement in advance, basically, because this is a time of preparation. So preparation is very important. So we should prepare in advance. When the event, the government or maybe the other sporting federations will announce the dates of the event, national, international event, we will see at that moment how to prepare. Obviously, they cannot say, be like, okay, tomorrow there's a tournament, so you have to come for the competition. Obviously, they will also give you a certain time period to prepare for your peak performance. And while the training, the athlete need to focus on the last point, They need to focus on the training goals and task in hand to maintain their focus. They should be positive and should focus on the task in hand rather than focusing here and there. I just mentioned in a previous slide. Next slide. So this is the last slide of the today's evening. How to prepare mentally. I continuously am emphasizing on the being optimistic and being positive. It is difficult to stay positive, but if you try, if you adopt a certain mental skills, if you keep on exercising those mental skills, it will enhance your optimism. Like self-talk is one of the strategy, positive self-talk. You can talk to yourself. You can continuously use that positive affirmations. You can put a lot of positive quotes in your room, in your laptop, in your mobile. So being a positive is not a difficult, impossible. It might be little difficult, but it is very much possible that we can stay optimistic. Continuously, mind throws irrelevant information, make you behave irrationally and make you talk negatively. That is how, because mind attracts negativity more easily than the positivity. So if you can control your mind by giving the banana to this monkey, then I think you can enhance your positivity. Just give some positive task to your mind and involve in a mental skills, and then you will end up improving your optimism. And the second point is the communication, which is very important. At this moment, many of these athletes lost their communication with their coaches and the trainers. So it is the time where they should actually start talking to their coaches that probably the lockdown will be over, sir. What we can do, how we can train, what are your plans, and so they should start. They should communicate with their coaches, which is very important. Sir, I cannot see the screen, sir. That's okay. Now I can see. So I missed the second point. Sorry. So putting the first thing first, resetting your goals according to the situation is very important. Earlier, there was a very strict lockdown sessions by the government. So everyone just trapped in their houses and they were setting up their goals accordingly, their priorities accordingly. Now probably lockdown will be over. So you should be happy and you should set your goals and priorities according to the situation and consequences. And hence the second point I just told you, when you will reset your goals, and for that you will require the help of your coaches and trainers. So communicate with your coaches and trainers, build that support system. Again, that support system is very necessary, especially the athletes who are beginner. And then there are the next point is the follow training routines. The routine is very important. Now once you will start building up your support system, and when you will start communicating, talking to your coaches and the trainer, they are going to definitely give you follow-up routines, a training schedule for a week or a 2 week, whatever week. So you need to stick with the training routine to fulfill that gap of training which occurred during this lockdown period. So during this lockdown period, many of the athletes lost certain things, physically, technically, mentally. So set your goals accordingly in those diverse areas so that you can fulfill or cover that gap. Then eating properly, eating healthy, sleeping properly is very important. There are 4 pillars for the performance. The first pillar is the eating good diet, optimal diet and sleeping, and then hydration is one, and then the training and the mindset is one. These are the 4 pillars of performance. 2 of them, sleep properly, eat properly. It is still very crucial. I know that many of the athletes are not training at that high level of intensity, but still I think 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very necessary. Many of the athletes suffering from insomnia kind of like situation. They are unable to sleep. They play. They spend more time on social media, play video game. I think the athlete need to restrict their their efforts in that direction, because that direction is not going to bring them any kind of help. Then the mental skill training. mental skill training is very important. There are primary 4 mental skills in meditation, which will help you to improve your self-awareness and will raise your self-confidence. Your mind will be more clear. It will be more ready to receive the information. Meditation is very necessary, not for sportsmen. It is for everyone. All of us should do the meditation at least 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. Then comes the visualization. Once your mind is clear, I think probably then you can imagine something. You can create the image. If your mind is full of lot of irrelevant information, it becomes very difficult to basically visualize or imagine something, because there will be a lot of inferences in between when you will start visualizing before meditation. So meditation comes in a basic level of training. Visualization is the advanced level of mental training. So first we need to start with the meditation, and obviously followed by visualization, positive self-talk. You can do anytime, anywhere. It does not need any time or any specific schedule to do this positive self-talk. Do it in home, outside in the training ground, before the training, during the training, in the competition, before competition. You can set it according to your convenience. And the goal setting obviously is very important. I explained you. Follow the principles of goal setting. Make sure that you are setting goals according to your needs and requirements. Don't set too difficult goals that are not going to bring any help for you. So setting a slightly difficult goal, specific goal is always good, and set the realistic goal. Then comes the gratitude training. Gratitude training is a very good concept in sports. We all, not in sports actually, we all should be thankful. We all should look for beauty. We should all help each other. We should be compassionate. We should share good vibe with the people around. That is very essential for every human being. It is very essential that we should be thankful. First of all, we should pay our gratitude for whatever we have toward God, or toward our family and friends, and we should stay compassionate. Then comes the our restricting our activity. The next point, restricting our activity for the social media. We are spending a lot of time on social media. Eventually, I think that is not beneficial. So we should control our effort on social media, scrolling through the all news, or playing the PUBG game, or maybe whatever game is there. Then and this is my personal favorite advice, that we all should laugh, we all should have fun, we all should dance. We should dance together with each other. We should sing if possible. So and this it will bring a little fun and enjoyment in our life. So all the athletes, they should also give little time to the enjoyment, fun in your life. Training is important, diet is important, competition is important, medal is important. Make sure that you are enjoying whatever you are doing. If you are not enjoying whatever you are doing, then I don't think you can reach the peak of whatever you do. Make sure there's an element of enjoyment and fun in that. Thank you so much for this session. If you have the question, you can ask me.
Dear participants, if you have any query, please use question answer session. Karan sir, one query is from Sneha Dandurkar. She wants to know any course online on sports psychology.
Well, actually, what was this, Sneha? Right?
Yeah.
Sneha, actually, there are a couple of courses. I think the best thing to do, I don't know, you have done masters or what is your qualification, but if you are just interested in doing a short course, you apply in Sports Authority of India. They run the 6-week or 8-week, I think, certificate course in sports psychology, and that is a little brief, very good, nice orientation kind of course which can help you. And if anyone is interested in doing a master's degree in sports psychology, I think there is this institution, Guru Nanak Dev University. They have the Department of Sports Science and Medicine. You can go, and there are a couple of other universities also. I think there's one university, Sports University in the Northeast now, and many other institutions are there in the south and in Tamil Nadu sports universities there. I don't exactly remember how many universities now open the course. So for the professional courses, I think you can approach these institutions. If you are interested in doing the master's degree, if you are looking for a course, I will suggest you go to Sports Authority of India. Ma'am, Dr. Solanki is there, Radha Solanki is there, Ma'am Dina Paul is there. So they are the very senior sports psychologists of authority, and they approaching them, they can definitely help you. They can share the information with you how you can enroll to the course.
Another question is conscious and unconscious mind in sports psychology used for tournament or any sports game start before 3 or 4 hours?
Well, actually, I want to tell here this concept of conscious, unconscious, subconscious mind is very complicated, very much complicated. Many motivational speakers use the concept of, I don't know about the unconscious, there is very less information available on unconscious mind. However, there are techniques called, hypnosis, and I don't use any hypnosis. I purely focus on the applied skills which can be applied, mental skills, MAC protocol, other interventions in sports. I generally don't give a talk on the unconscious part. Yes, subconscious is called a little, you can say a bridge between conscious and unconscious. The thing which we don't remember, actually, we don't remember exactly that 20 years ago on this day, what I was doing and what I was wearing on the same time. Obviously, that information is gone from our mind. It might be somewhere in the unconscious. I don't know unconscious play any role in this course. I have not read any empirical peer-reviewed research article on this. But yes, subconscious is something which can be targeted. But how the subconscious works, we need to understand. There is we all know when we repeatedly do something, it is just like a memorizing. Like we, for example, you have bought a car, actually, new car or new two-wheeler bike, and we all have this experience when we buy something new, car, four-wheeler or two-wheeler, we drive it very consciously. We are not aware of the clutch and how it will respond, and the brake and maybe the race and all that, accelerator also. So what happens if we be very focused, try to control the bike, and we just try to experience it. How that particular bike or four-wheeler is responding, how it is behaving, and over the period of time, when you drive that particular bike daily on a daily basis, every time, 10 times in a day, 20 times in a day, gradually every one of us knows that now even I drive my bike and I don't know, I don't remember how I press the clutch, how I press it is very automated. It is somewhere in the, I'll say, in my subconscious. So I don't drive mine now with the conscious unless I'm speeding it up. If I'm speeding it up, then I think probably I put a little attention to it. Otherwise, if I'm driving it at a moderate pace, then probably everything happens automatically. Even at a high speed also, pressing the brake or pulling the clutch is a little automatic. So in a sports also, when you, especially in those sports which are skill oriented, where there's a skill involved, like football is a very much skill oriented game. More and more you will practice with the ball, more and more your subconscious going to automatically it will work in the competition. And what happens only in the case when subconscious will fail. Only in one situation it will fail, when you are unable to cope up with the situation or adversity or the pressure. Then that neural pathway will disrupt, and your subconscious will not work. Your more and more the conscious part will start working in the competition, and probably with that conscious part, because you don't now the player is not able to decide what to do. Decision making will reduce, and all those things will happen to the athlete. So subconscious, unconscious, and the conscious. Generally, I don't tell these things to the athlete. I simply tell them what they can do physically like they run and how they can perform the self-talk. And mental skill is training and counseling is the one thing which I very closely follow. I don't talk about subconscious and unconscious. Oh yes, these concepts are there in psychology. Very deep and very complex.
Sir, one question is about mental fitness of coach. How much it important for a coach to be a mentally fit?
Yes, actually, I think more than coach and athlete relationship is a very important factor in sports. Actually, this is absolutely another topic, obviously. And in social psychology of sports, there's a like lot of research articles, lot of books you can find on the site. Even I remember I want to refer here, still there's so many people who are listening to me. I want to quote here Coleman Griffith. So Coleman Griffith is the sports psychologist back in 1920s who published the first book in psychology, sports psychology. And the name of that book was The Psychology of Coaching, the first book he published. And then he published The Psychology of Athletics. So these are the two books from that early ages of Griffith era, from the history of sports psychology. So it is very important, and he mentioned that how the psychology can be applied in the coaching, or how coaches can use this psychology. Yes, mental health of coach is very important. I think it is very important for a coach. First of all, professional behavior in sports training of all the coaches, all the sports staff is important. When you cross that line of involvement, when you start over involving, however, it is very difficult to restrict. I understand coaches spend a lot of time with these athletes. They unknowingly, unwantedly get involved with the athlete to very deep level, and coaches actually in order to understand and establish a more control on the athlete. But in that process, what happens sometimes, coach also start revealing himself, some good or bad part of the coaches. I have seen this happening. So maybe so it is very important to have the optimal involvement with the athletes, and also mental health is very important of the coaches. Do not involve in a noxious behavior. Do not involve in any. I know the Indian coaches. I work with the national coaches, foreign coaches, all kind of coaches. So everyone do have a layer time. They spend their private time, but make sure that you have that optimal involvement, a professional involvement with your athlete that will give you an extra edge, not the over involvement with the athlete and telling him everything, and especially using him, asking him to bring this and that, bring me water, bring me this and that. This thing does not work on him. And abusing, especially athletes, using cuss words does not work.
Thank you, Karan sir. We got many questions, but we will, due to time constraint, I would like to invite Dr. Sheetal Sheth ma'am to propose vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vikas. Very good evening to everyone. Honorable Vice Chancellor, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, Professor Parimal Vyas, Shri Karanbir Singh, expert speaker, teachers, and my dear friends. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Physical Education, the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda, and the entire fraternity of management here together, extend a very heartfelt gratitude to our dynamic and enthusiastic Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Parimal Vyas, for sharing his valuable time to be here with us and motivate us. Sir, we are all inspired by your great words, and we, the Department of Physical Education team, assure you to start some online courses or sports activities for the benefit of the society. Once again, thank you very much, sir. My deep sense of appreciation to our speaker, Shri Karanbir Singh, sports psychologist, Tata Academy, for the gracing your important work and sharing with us your experience. Thank you very much, sir. Whatever you have said to us, it's really beneficial for students, for teachers. I also would like to thank, thank you, sir. Yeah. I also would like to thank Mr. Arun Anand for his minute-to-minute support for making this webinar smooth. I would like to thank all the participants from the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University and from other states for your willingness towards this webinar. Without you, this webinar will not be success. I cannot thank everyone enough for the involvement they have shown to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. Once again, I want to state that I am almost grateful to our speaker, Shri Karanbir Singh. I thank you for being with us this evening. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Karan sir. Thank you, Ajit ma'am. And thank you very much to Professor Parimal Vyas sir for encouraging the sports activity in our university at highest level. Thank you for being with us. The information for the participants that we are going to email you the feedback form. Please revert back with your feedback so we can arrange some more important topics webinar through this link. Thank you very much.
Thank you.